Hello, everyone. You're listening to Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja Glass. Feel free to call me Z. I want to talk today about disguised blessings. Disguised blessings. What happens when the blessing is wrapped inside of the suffering? Or maybe I should say the suffering is wrapped around the blessing. What happens when we're in situations and it looks so bad, or the pain is so great, or things have remained unchanged for so long, or it just doesn't look like what we prayed for. And it's easy to come from under that. But what happens when the blessing is disguised and it's encased around the suffering? Have you thought about that? I've just been thinking lately. I wish I can go into some details about something, but I'll just say this. There's been a number of conversations that I've been having lately, including one with myself. Just some unique situations that I've been in and I've seen other people in. And the easy thing to do, and I was just telling this to a friend of mine the other day, the easy thing to do is to come from under the pain. That's what we all want to do, right? We want to come from under the pain. There's pain. This don't hurt. I don't feel loved. This don't feel right. I need to get from under this. This boss is not treating me right. This, I know more than my boss, or this situation's not working out well, with my finances, or this situation's not working out well in my marriage, or whatever it is. It's easy to come from under the situation. Now, I want to be careful with this because I'm not saying anything against people who've chosen to walk away. There are some situations where maybe the best thing that you need to do, especially if your life's in danger and there's some other things going on. So please don't take this as a take-all message for everyone and in every situation. Or if you've walked out of a situation, please don't think I'm coming for you. I'm just talking in general that wherever that source of pain is, whether it's with our kids, relationship, finances, what have you, sometimes it's easy to think the way out is to move from under the pain. And I've found as I'm thinking through my life, thinking through some things that I've been through, things I'm even going through now in some cases, the blessing is often disguised. It's often hidden. I did a podcast a long time ago. I think it was I wrote it down. I think it was episode 113 episode 13. I think I called it Golden Pain. And there's another one I did, episode 109, called Pruning. And I talked about how is it, or why is it that the branches that bear fruit still get pruned? And the Bible talks about it's so that it can bear more fruit. And remember I talked about that episode, like, what is the point of pruning the branches when they're already bearing fruit? Why bother? Why mess with it? And the Bible teaches us that the branches that does bear fruit, good fruit at that, he cuts away at it so that it can bear more. And that just sounds so incredibly backwards. Why sometimes are we placed in situations where we have to persevere, where things are uncomfortable? How do we handle situations like that? When for depending on the situation, sometimes it's easy to come from under that. But I've found, as I've been doing a lot of reflecting on my walk with God and my life and all the situations I've been through, of course, including the loss of my son. You guys know that's so heavy on my heart. I have found it is best for me to trust in God that he knows what he's doing. And when I'm in a unique situation, especially a situation that's uncomfortable, I ask God, show me where the gold is. That's why I referenced that episode, I think number 13, called Golden Pain. If you haven't listened to that, go back and watch it. Show me where is the gold in this? I don't see any gold in this. How can what I'm going through right now in any way be useful for you, God? Or any way useful for other people in this kind of suffering? How is that even possible? And I won't even recap that episode. You can go back and listen to it. But the point is that, just to give a few nuggets from it, if we are willing to dig and search for it, there's blessings that's disguised in it. At least that's what I found in my life. There is not one situation I've gone through in my life, and I've talked about some really hard things, you guys. There isn't one situation where I can't see how there's some gold that came from it. Some kind of way, there is a blessing disguised in it, no matter how great the suffering has been in my life. And that's hard to say. That's hard to say, especially in some areas of my life that I can't even talk about on camera. But he produces gold from it. When I was talking to a friend the other day, and I won't go through details because I want to respect her privacy, even though you have no idea who I'm talking about. But I'll just say this. There's a situation where I have a friend who can easily come from under a situation, and I don't want to go into the details. But when I had that talk with her, part of me in my mind when I was thinking when we were talking is, wow, this is where the blessings are. Look how your character's being developed here. Can we look at this from a different angle? Can we look at it from the angle of, wow, what's behind this problem? I did a podcast on that as well. I think I called it Behind the Problem or What's Behind the Problem. You'll have to look that one up. I can't remember the episode number. But I've learned, I should say God has taught me to sort of lean a little bit and look around the situation to see what the heck is it that the enemy is trying to block on the other side. Why is this negativity or this distraction or this stress or this situation presenting itself? I'll give some light examples. Let's just talk about, perhaps you're in a job where you don't even want to be there anymore. And it may be time for you to move on. I don't know. You have to decide what's best for you. But is it possible in that situation one of two things could be happening? Is it possible God is using that situation in some way or another to develop your character, to help you to persevere, to teach you a little bit about humility? Because in the next level that he's taken you to, you're going to need those skill sets, those traits, those character traits in order to survive at the next level. Is it possible perhaps he's just allowing you to experience the frustration that you're feeling so that you can make a move and do the things that you need to do? That's another way of looking at it as well. I told God the other day when I was talking to him, and you guys know I have the weirdest conversations with him. But I said, God, how did I put it? Because I was feeling really uneasy. That's what it was. I've been feeling really tired. It's been so much going on between my son graduating, last minute him deciding to go to a different college. I'll get into that in a different episode, how I cried half the way driving there, but I'll get into that. I think I'm going to do another episode after this one. But anyway, just feeling tired, feeling drained, just a lot that was going on. But I said to God something I never said before, and I said, God, thank you for the spirit of tiredness that I'm feeling right now. Thank you for this frustrating spirit that I'm feeling right now, because there was a lot of other things going on. I'm just giving you the shortest version. And I said, because this is showing me something's off track. Something's not right, that I'm getting up in the morning and I'm still more tired than when I went to sleep. Something's not right. So it's almost like a switch in my brain, the way that I process things. And it's like, thank you for showing me the blessing in this. The blessing in this is you're showing me, 1, you're doing too much. 2, you need to slow down. 3, you need to eat better and take care of yourself. Start exercising. 4, I told you to do that cooking episode. You've only done 1 or 2. When are you going to do more and listen to me? You get my point? So in all of that frustration, tiredness, things that I've been feeling, really, to be honest, probably the last almost 2 weeks, I've been off and on just feeling it, I can't quite explain it, but just having a hard time really pursuing the things that God's put in my heart to do. But I said, God, thank you for what I was feeling and what I went through, because it's showing me, it's almost like a meter. Something's off. Haven't been in my word as much as I need to. Sitting down, meditating on my scriptures as much as I need to. I was gone to a cousin's wedding that was far away, and that took a couple of days. Then when I got there was an emergency with my father. Whole nother subject, my goodness. Then coming back to my son's graduation, some things at work, and I just come from another major conference downtown. So literally last 2 weeks straight, like left and right at every angle, things were pulling at me. And I was feeling drained and feeling tired. I said, what could be the blessing in this? And I said, God, thank you for showing me. Thank you for showing me that even in this situation, there's a blessing to be seen. And the blessing in that is I need to slow my butt down. I need to be in my word more. I need to be praying more. My son even challenged me, Mom, you need to be eating better. You get my point? Now, that's a light example. I can go a lot deeper with that. But the point that I'm trying to make, that I'm getting at, is that sometimes, depending on what we're going through in life, sometimes, at least for me, I've noticed that the blessings have been wrapped in the suffering. God has graced me to be able to see the blessing in this by producing the character he's producing in me, by instilling in me to lead these groups. At that time, I started leading some really, really powerful 15 and 30 week groups for women who were going through difficult times in their marriage. And there was such blessings that came out of it. One, it drew me closer to God. Two, I was then able to turn around and gather. I remember going to the ministers at my church, and I said, all of the people in our church who have the most difficult marriages, the women who are going through the most difficult, challenging times, can you bring them all to me? I was a part of this spiritual discovery group, and you guys can go back and listen to that episode. I think it was Virginia Leffler and Kathy Heinen. I know. They're the ones who co-authored that book. I've already had them as a guest on the show. You can look it up. But I remember after taking their course and going through their thing, like, I got to teach this to other people. I got to teach other women that they can stand. I got to teach them that they're more powerful than they think. I got to teach them that just because someone's on the dance floor dancing don't mean they need to join that party. I got to teach them the power and the strength that comes only from God. I got to teach them that they have choices. I've got to teach them that God didn't forget about them and walk away. I got to teach them that they can grow from dark places. And I learned so much. And so all of that became a blessing and turned around and blessed so many women. To this day, I'm still great friends with many, many, many of those women, because I led a lot of those sessions, by the way. I used to lead it at my office on Sunday nights. I know I'm drifting, but just follow me a minute. The point I'm getting at is, even in that, God produced tremendous blessings that was wrapped around that suffering, that to this day, if all of these women were lined up on camera right now, they would tell you, you have no idea how that has pivoted and changed my life completely for the better. All of them would say that. So in that, there was a blessing that God had in store for me, some nuggets that needed to be dug out so that it could be used to produce what you now see. Does that make sense? Hopefully this example is making sense of what I'm getting at. Now, I'm not saying, please, for those of you who might be in a difficult marriage or going through things, and if you're saying, well, Z, are you saying I got to stay because I'm in this situation, I'm being abused and I'm not saying any of that, please. No. Don't take things out of context. The only thing that I'm saying is, in my situation, and years ago when I was in probably one of the roughest moments of my entire life, I dug and searched for that closeness with God, and he produced such fruit from it that the blessing was actually wrapped in the suffering. I had strength that I didn't even know I had. There was power in me that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know it was possible to grow from dark places. I didn't know. I thought if everything is falling apart around me, that means my life is falling apart. I'm falling apart. I didn't know that things can be chaotic and going on around you, and I can still stand and be still before God and have this power and this strength, this mightiness to do what most people probably wouldn't do, which is humbly go before God and allow him to strengthen and guide you, making powerful, bold moves, even during bad storms. And if you go back and listen to any of my videos, you'll know some of the things I did, and one of the businesses I started up, I didn't have a dime, and how God just led me and just tremendously turned situations around. Sometimes the blessing is wrapped in the suffering. Now, if you said, Z, does that mean you're saying I got to suffer? I'm not saying you got to do anything. You live your life and make the decisions that's best for you. But I'm just saying, think twice before you just up and leave, or up and just quit a job, or up and just go off on somebody, or you just think twice. All I'm saying is pray about it and ask God, where is the blessing in this? Because this is a mess. And I'll end with this. You guys know I have to talk about my son, because my goodness, every couple of days I'm just, Lord have mercy, strengthen me. But you guys, do you have any idea how hard it was to get back on camera after losing my child, after all the things I've prayed about, asking God to heal him? You could not have told me there was any blessing of any kind that would come out of that. And I probably would have got offended if you would have said that to me. as I look a little bit in hindsight, and I say a little bit because I've not arrived, I'm just kind of on my journey. I see the lives that's been so impacted. I've read so many comments from people saying, Z, I'm without excuse. You just lost your child, and here you are still having the audacity to serve and give. I gave up on God years ago when such and such happened to me. Now you got me back in my Bible. I have people saying, I've lost my child, I've lost my spouse, I've lost my sister or brother, what have you, and I just wanted nothing to do with God, and now you got me back reading my Bible. You got me back praying because I'm seeing you who just lost your child. That's a blessing. That's fruit. That's a blessing wrapped in suffering. And I'm not saying I've arrived. I'm no spiritual guru. I have my moments. God knows I do. I've had my moments of God. Why? I mean, do not get me wrong. You guys know I'm a mess on a good day. But God has just put it in my heart to share this message. I don't know what it is that you're going through. I don't know what your situation is. If your life is in danger or you're in unique situations, please get help. Please, by all means. But sometimes the blessing is wrapped inside the suffering. And sometimes that discomfort is there for a reason. I heard a minister a long time ago do a sermon on why the eagle stirs the nest and makes it very uncomfortable so that the birds can eventually be so uncomfortable, I guess they can jump out or something and be forced to fly or something. Sometimes the eagle stirs the nest. And we think we're being punished, but really we were just being hidden for the right moment so that we can develop the strength, the character, the faith, the stamina, whatever it is that we need for that next level he's taken us to. In my case, God had to humble me before he can elevate me. Listen to any of my old podcasts and I don't even have to go through it and you can see he had to. I had to go through some of those things that I went through because I wouldn't have had nothing to say to people. I would just be a nice person or just a typical motivational speaker. No strike against any motivational speakers out there. But I speak with conviction and with experience. I've been through many things, some things you guys don't even know about. So I think twice before I come from under the suffering, before I quit something, before I give up on something. And I have all these people in my ear at times, wouldn't be me, or I don't know how you do, or why don't you just, or how could you start, how could you do this when you don't have that, and what happened? I have to block out all of that. And I have to sit with God and say, God, show me where is the blessing in this mess? What is it you're trying to teach me or show me? What nugget are you trying to develop in here so that I can turn around and give it back to you and help others? Where's the gold? Where's that nugget? Anyway, hope I wasn't yelling. You guys know I love you. I speak from my heart. Again, there's nothing really written down. I just had a few little notes I wrote on here about my old episodes, but nothing really written down. This is just purely from my heart. Whatever it is that you're going through, just consider. I'm just saying consider. Perhaps there's a blessing that's wrapped in that suffering. Can you just pray and ask God to open your eyes so that you can see it? Is there a book he's trying to produce from you? Is he trying to get you to start a business? Is he trying to get you to start an organization? Is he trying to get you to lead a Bible talk group or help other people, other women or other men? I don't know. Is he trying to get you to do more for kids who are victims of human trafficking? Is he trying to get you to do something that you don't see? Is he developing some character traits and things in you that's going to turn around and be exactly what you need to survive the next level? And not only survive it, but to get there and to be able to maintain it and hold on to it. God could not have given me what he's given me too fast because I would have messed it up. I had to be humble so many times from my marriage, absolutely, to my finances, absolutely. I have been broke as all get out. Go back and listen to some of the other episodes. To my children, I've been through some of everything with them. Some of it you just have no idea because I can't speak on it. To health issues, especially with losing my son. To unexpected deaths. like my mother and others that I love. There's been so much that I've gone through and am going through. But through it all, I know that God will not waste the pain that he's allowed me to go through. There is blessings in this, even if I don't see it right now. Even if I don't see it right now, because some things I did not see it at the time. I only see this in hindsight, by the way. I guess I should have started by saying that. I only see it in hindsight. Because in the moment you feel like God don't care. You feel like what's going on? He don't care about me. Maybe I'm not special enough. Maybe he's still mad at me. And by the way, if you feel that, go back and listen to that episode, God Uses Messed Up People. Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that lie. I've done so much wrong. He don't love me no more. No. The devil is a lie. But sometimes you can fall into that mindset. You know, I know a person or two that's like, it's always me. It's always something happen. Nothing good happened. So, sometimes you go through situations. I think my sister or somebody told me this a long time ago. She said, Z, God can't take you to the next level till you've graduated from this level. It was years ago. My sister, who is an amazing woman of God, by the way, taught me that. And I'm like, what? And she said, sometimes he'll allow you to keep going through what you got to go through on that level until you get the lesson and you learn it. And now he takes you to the next level. And I thought, oh my God, that's so profound and it's so true. There's a blessing in the suffering if we're willing to look for it and find it. Am I saying your suffering is good and you should stay in your situation and all that? I don't know your unique situation. I'm not throwing out raggedy advice. I am just saying for my life, I'm just speaking of me. Everything that I've been through and what I'm going through now, as I look in hindsight, I can see the blessings that God has produced from it. That's all I'm saying. And there are some things I'm going through now where I'm still hurting, if I can be very honest with you all. But there's blessings produced from it. This podcast episode is one of them. It's one of them. This particular episode I'm doing right now. I was tempted to feel something. I was feeling something, to be honest. And I said, God, what is the blessing in this? What are you doing? And he just put in my heart, people need to know that sometimes my blessings are wrapped in the suffering. So I love you all. If you have time, go back and listen to the other episodes on pruning. I think that was episode 109. And I think episode 13 was on golden pain. Listen to the podcast also that I did on, we've talked about Joseph quite a bit. You can read Genesis 37 through 42. You talk about blessings wrapped in the suffering. We've talked about Joseph enough. I don't even have to go into it. You guys already know what I'm going to get into, with how his brothers treated him and what happened and how he went to jail and all of that. But then he became first or second in command. Remember that? And then we talked about John 15. I wrote that one down. I think it's verse 2 or so. When the passage talks about how the branch that bears good fruit, he cuts it, he prunes it so that it can bear more. I did a whole episode on that. So go back and listen to it. I just want to encourage you. I'm just trying to encourage you that whatever you may be going through right now, God has not forgotten about you. Look a little deeper. Ask God to show you, where in the heck is the blessing at in this mess? Sometimes I say, I'm not going through this pain for nothing. I'm not going to waste my pain. The devil is a lie. God, you're going to get some glory out of this. Like when my son died, I kid you not. I was like, you're going to have to get some glory some kind of way out of this, because this is some mess and this is pain I've never felt before. You're going to have to get some glory out of this. How can I turn around and help other people who are thinking of giving up? Because I don't even feel you right now and don't want your presence by me. I talked about that. When I said I feel like I'm in a room and God's in the room with me, but I don't want him to touch me. He's somewhere on the other side of the wall, but I don't even want him to touch me. I know he's there, but right now I just ain't feeling like praying. Talked about all that. And God turned around and used all of that just by me being raw and honest to turn around and soften the hearts of other people who felt the same way. There's a blessing that's wrapped inside the suffering if we're willing to curl up under our Father's arms. Let his wings cover us. Cry. Let him feel the pain. And ask him to show you, one, show you a way out and help you to stand. But two, God, where is the blessing at in this? I don't see it. So I want to encourage you to keep digging. Keep looking for that gold. It's there. Okay? Woo! This was a deep one. I love you all. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Love you all. Bye-bye.